It's a bit of a move on. I am mostly made of dust right now. If you were looking for a car to turn into an extreme rally vehicle, this surely isn't it. But they've done it. Meet the Morgan CXT.
This isn't as crazy as you might think. Morgan has a long history of off-roading, just not in its recent history. This is trialling, and back when Morgan was young, it was big news. A real test of durability and endurance.
So in the spirit of Morgan's past, let's go and see if a modern Morgan works off-road too. I think a few little challenges are in order. Oh, through the thistles. Hello, sheep. Straight up towards the wind turbine. A little bit bumpy over the grass, but absolutely fine. Let's go and see how it copes with a steep slope. And we're popping out over the ridgeline, and up we go. This is a Morgan. What this is doing off-road is exceptional. Oh, look, water splash. Let's have a go at that. Ready, brace yourself. Not too bad actually in here. Barely a drop came in. It's got quite a lot of ground clearance actually. Not far off as much as a Discovery. Let's have a wander through a rock garden. Look at all these big rocks. Oh, look, a really steep slope. I'm not actually sure it's going to make it up here. Ooh, a bit of wheel spin. Wow, that's really steep and loose and bumpy. What a car! Well done, you. That was not easy. Well done. This bit looks like the African savannah. Well, just the track bit. That's very definitely not African savannah. Ooh, nice to get the wind under your armpits though. Right, enough playing around for a minute. I think it's time to understand a bit more about what they have done to a standard Morgan to turn it into this. Outwardly, these two cars look quite similar, and in many ways they are. Both use the same CX aluminium chassis and the same drivetrain as well, the BMW 2-litre turbo, complete with the same manual gearbox. But appearances can be deceptive because actually the only body panels that have been carried over are the doors and the nose cone. This one, however, has been modified by the Dakar experts Rally Rage UK, which is why it looks quite different. Not only are we looking at bigger wheels and tyres here, but modified suspension borrowed from the Plus 6 to give wider track widths. And also rally spec springs and dampers. And then if we work further back down the car, this rather lovely looking leather bag here actually contains the air filter. And then we come to the external roll cage, which not only looks fantastic, but is actually bolted onto the chassis. And then we get to the really exciting stuff. Look, we've got a couple of rally spec lights up here. We've got sand ladders and a shovel on the back, and two huge spare tyres. It's a cracking piece of kit, this. You don't have to have yours like this. You can have it with bike racks and roof tents. It's not actually intended for competition. It's aimed at people wanting adventure and experience, or people like us with our own quarry to play in. Now let's do some proper driving. Yay! Get the CXT moving around a bit. Yes! The front end, really impressive. That just seems to float and skip along beautifully. The back end just sort of bounces around a bit more, but, you know, considering it takes as a starting point probably one of the worst riding cars available today, this is amazing. So you can slide it around. Yes! But the way it moves, what they've done to it underneath is very impressive. Most notably in the suspension department, because a standard Morgan basically has no rear suspension travel. This does. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
Rally Rage UK have managed to engineer in 140mm of rear suspension travel, not only improving ground clearance, but also comfort and control. The CXT steers cleanly and communicates well. The chassis is stiff and the handling predictable. It's actually very well balanced, so you can charge through long, fast corners and play with the angles on the steering and throttle. It's way more secure and confidence-inspiring than you'd ever expect a Morgan to be. And more than that, it's a hoot.
It feels quite quick on the road, a 2-litre BMW turbo in a Morgan Plus 4. On gravel, more than effective. It's a responsive engine. I can't believe the traction of it, actually, not just the power, but power is nothing if you haven't got traction. These tyres, amazing. The handbrake, disappointingly, doesn't really do anything. They needed a proper hydraulic one. That would have been awesome. In terms of the drivetrain, it's pretty much a standard Plus 4. Apart that is from the rear differential, because on the Plus 4, it's a completely open differential. On here, it's not. They've actually bought in a proper electronic torque vectoring diff from BMW. And using a couple of switches over here, you can adjust it and adjust the locking it does, which, for sliding around on gravel, is just what you need. Yes, have some of that! This is awesome! Not the most natural starting point then, but this Morgan has been comprehensively and sympathetically enhanced. They're only building 7 and each costs, wait for it, a staggering £200,000. But the CXT deserves to have a big impact and bring Morgan a new, younger audience. It's fun and a bit daft, but it drives better than it has any right to. In fact, forget off-road only, I'm willing to bet it's a better road car too.